need to send an energy package to the President so we can reduce that dangerous dependence on foreign sources of oil. Because, Mr. President, let's face it, we've got a serious threat to our national security when nearly 60% of the oil we consume comes from foreign countries. We need to strengthen the terrorist surveillance program by modernizing the Foreign Intelligence Surveillance Act's definitions of electronic surveillance and communication, and by enhancing congressional oversight. We need to consider legislation that builds on the progress we made last year with the bioterror bill by further refining and enhancing our defenses against non-traditional terrorist attacks. We need to secure America's prosperity by bringing budget process reform to the floor and by finalizing a very exciting bipartisan competitiveness agenda package. We need to continue securing America's health by bringing health information technology legislation to conference. And we must continue to secure America's values by promoting sound government. That begins with fulfilling our constitutional duty of advice and consent by bringing more judicial nominations to the floor for confirmation. And it continues with addressing internet gambling. As it is now, this industry threatens to undermine the quality of life of millions of Americans by bringing an addictive behavior right into our living rooms. Mr. President, as you can see, we have a lot on our plate. Bipartisan support on each of these issues is absolutely necessary. It's election time, and the tendency is to make everything political. For the American people, we need to rise above this. We need to come together. We need to work together on these important issues that so dramatically impact the security of the American people, the security of our homeland. As we learned last year with Hurricanes Katrina and Rita, and on September the 11th, almost 5 years ago, complacency and passiveness have no place on the Senate floor. We must work together to ensure that we anticipate and address the problems facing everyday Americans. We must work together to keep America moving forward. We must work together to fight and, yes, win the war on terror. Mr. President, let me just take one final minute and update our colleagues on the specific schedule for today. Under the order, we are to immediately return to the consideration of the Defense Appropriations Bill. We began this important funding measure prior to our adjournment, and we were unable to finish it prior to that recess. Although we do not have a unanimous consent agreement on the bill, the Democratic leader has agreed prior to the recess that we would finish the bill no later than Wednesday of this week, although discussions just prior to our beginning today's session means that it may be Thursday. Chairman Stevens is here today occupying the chair and is ready to consider amendments and make progress during today's session. I understand that no one is ready at this